All right, we are back on the Andre Duke Show with Carter Smith. Carter's in the building. Richie's in the building. We got training camps kicking off. College football is, I believe, 75 days away. Only, 12 more Saturdays?
Or 12 more Saturdays, baby. It might be 11 more for week 0. But
I think it's 11 more for week 0. But anyway, we are back. Hit that like and subscribe button and take this journey again with us as we get the college football year underway. With that being said, Carter, Richie, how are you guys doing?
Go ahead and speak, since we haven't seen that look of yours in a long time.
Yeah, no, it's been a minute. I've been, just a lot going on in life, man. It's been a crazy couple months here, and it's going to be a crazy couple more months. So it is what it is. We're just rocking and rolling here. I'm going to try to get back with you guys every day. I really am. But, when you have kids and you're going through some things that I'm going through, things happen. And we're back, though. We're getting ready because I'm excited for this football season. I don't know if anybody else is, but this is the most excited I've been for a college football season I was talking to my buddy the other day about it. I would say probably in 15 years. Like the last time I was this excited for a college football season was probably Brady Quinn's junior year at Notre Dame. And if you guys don't remember, that was the Bush push that was completely illegal, and Notre Dame should have played for a national championship that year. But I mean, that's the last time I've been this excited for a college football season. It's going to be absolutely insane. But 2006 was awesome. I agree, Sid.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, 2006 when they had Quinn and Samardzija.
Yeah, that's probably the last time I was this excited. It's been a while. And the more that I read about Notre Dame, and we'll get into the Notre Dame stuff later, I know, but the more I read about Notre Dame, the more I read about everything coming out. First of all, let me just put it out there, because I know we've talked since Angeli left, and but I'm telling you guys right now, I have it on good authority. CJ Carr, fucking dude. Like, I am talking like ready to go. Like, from what I've been told, it's not even a competition. CJ Carr's the guy, and he's ready. Like,
you sure about
level.
That?
Yeah, I'm sure about that. I am sure about that.
Sure about that?
Yeah. I'm really confident in that. I think CJ Carr's a dude, and I think this Notre Dame team is poised for a really epic season.
One of the things that I'm not trying to be the wet blanket, but I think that they got to make it through camp healthy.
For sure.
That's the big thing on the offensive line, because at the end there, Coach Rudolph was a sum of spare parts. I mean, it looked like David Spade's car in Tommy Boy, basically, with like a fence, like a picket fence door.
Yeah.
I mean, so I
think the only good thing about that is, how much experience that so many young people got from that run. And now you're bringing back so many pieces. If they stay healthy, it's one of the best offensive line units in the country. If they stay healthy.
Yeah. Yeah, I will agree with you on that. I don't think that – I think, as we were looking at the schedule last year and what we had predicted, I mean, we gave undefeated to 10-2.
Yeah.
So I think – yeah, exactly. I mean –
we were pretty spot on. You were the undefeated guy. I said they'd lose one. I didn't expect it to be the one they lost, but
Sid comes in. He chimes in here real quick. I think OSU and Notre Dame with 10-win season. Well,
yeah, I agree. I could. There is not many scenarios I see where they each go under 10. I don't think either one. I think 10 is kind of this floor for both of them.
Yeah.
I think the major hurdle. I know it's not on the show notes, but I'll just briefly, because we've talked it into existence and, we've talked about it ad nauseum. I don't know what Michigan's going to be this year. And if there's any one speed bump on the Ohio State schedule this year, I think it's Michigan. I mean, last year it was, well, they lost all this, they lost all that, and they still beat them. So you got to beat them.
Well, and here's the thing. If you look at the blue chip ratio, you know where Michigan ranks on the blue chip ratio list for teams coming into this year?
Probably way behind everybody else.
No, actually, no. I mean, it's behind a couple people, but they're top 10. I think they're number 6 on blue chip ratio, which is absolutely insane because Michigan fans love to tell you develop, not bought, like all this bullshit that they tell you. But the bottom line is, like, the top blue chip ratios are Oregon, Texas, Georgia, Ohio State, Bama, A&M, and then Michigan.
I think Sharon Moore's recruited well up there. It hasn't been to the top tier.
I'm just telling you, like, be very weary about Michigan. I think Michigan's going to be really good. I got to be honest with you. If Bryce Underwood is any good,
and they're going through the whole punishment thing right now.
Yeah, we'll deal with that when it comes out. But
yeah, I think that's more of a we'll wait and see what happens there because we gave our spiel on it last year. I didn't want to spend a whole bunch of time talking about that, but I guess we could get into the notes and kick this show off right. I got them rolled up here. Deshaun Jackson versus Michael Vick. Not playing opposing sidelines.
Right.
I'm going with Vic, baby.
So, have you guys watched the Vic, like 30 for 30?
I have not.
No, I would suggest it. It's excellent. It makes it very hard for me because I'm a huge Michael Vick fan. Like, dude, Michael Vick was my guy. Like, you got to understand, like, when I grew up, so like 1999, 2000, I was like 9, 10 years old. And I was playing my brothers in NCAA football. I was Virginia Tech. My brothers were Penn State and Florida State. And I beat the shit out of both of them to go to a national championship to face Florida State again, just like in real life. And I lost just like he did. But Vic was my guy. And I'm also a huge dog person. So when Vic got in trouble, it really, however you feel about that, he's apparently done his job. And this is crazy. Like these two, when Vic came back, Deshaun Jackson was at the top of his game. And having these two guys face off in Philadelphia this season is insane.
Yeah, I think that the former player coach thing has gained a lot more traction than I thought it would ever gain. But the one thing I'll say about Michael Vick is that if he's turned it around and is living right and he can impact some of those guys' lives, by giving them an opportunity for, coaching them up and get them a degree and get them out the door and get them into a better situation. The whole reason why you coach, I think that's a positive for the sport.
I agree. I think a lot of people have struggled with, which is like, however you want to believe it, or like however you want to think about it. But like, I think a lot of people struggle with like forgiving him for, the aspect of what he did, which I understand. Like, you're killing innocent animals. Like he was literally killing dogs. It's not ideal, not something that anybody should be a part of. And I think a lot of people can forgive killing humans almost more than they can forgive killing dogs. And so I think it's a tough, because there's a certain demographic that'll never forgive him, right?
Right. everybody's entitled to their own opinion. That's why it's your opinion. That's why whenever they ask what happened, you tell your story, sometimes not the story.
Yep, exactly.
But yeah, moving on here. Top 10 quarterbacks in the SEC, which I have a huge issue with this list.
I'm sure you do. You're a big SEC guy, so we'll have a lot of SEC talk here, and I'm sure he'll have a lot to say about it.
With my Auburn shirt and my Alabama hat.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know why we're talking SEC. Who cares? Top 10 quarterbacks that aren't going to win a natty. Let's go.
Well, when it comes to this list, I don't mind them having Lagway as one.
Who would you rather them have? You said that like you'd rather them have somebody.
You could make arguments for different guys, because I pay attention to a lot of SEC football, but putting Arch Manning number 2,
that one doesn't make any sense to me.
Arch Manning number 2, and a kid that I think is going to be really talented is going to be the Simmons kid at Ole Miss.
Okay.
I've heard a lot of good things about him, but I don't know how you could put guys on this list, and I get it. It's Josh Pate, one of the holy grails of football, but I don't know how you can have Simmons and Arch Manning above, Well, Simmons isn't above Nussmeier, but I think Garrett Nussmeier is going to be a solid QB this year.
I'm surprised Nussmeier's at 4.
Yeah, Nussmeier's the only one you can make an argument for. He's the only one. And like everybody else is unproven, nothing. Like John Mateer, all right, play in a real league. We'll see how you do. Jackson Arnold, same, whatever. Diego Pavia, I guess, but no,
Diego Pavia is undefeated against the state of Alabama. Let's not forget that. And he did that at Vanderbilt. He did that at Vanderbilt, and he did that at New Mexico State. He's beat Hugh Freeze every time he's played him, and he's beat Alabama. And probably the biggest upset since Northern Illinois.
Does that make him better at quarterback? I'm just sorry. I get it. He won, but that's not just the quarterback, right? The whole team won.
They got the Vanderbilt. I think this was just me looking at it personally. I think that this will be Clark Lee's last year there, because I think he's going to get offered a bigger job.
Well, yeah. But Pavia, you wouldn't put Pavia above most of these quarterbacks. If you were picking a quarterback to start your team with, you wouldn't put him above Lagway. You wouldn't put him above Arch. Wouldn't put him above Seller, Nussmeier, Mateer, Simmons, Arnold. Maybe above Taylor Green and Marcel Reed. I don't know, but
I'll be interested. I think Marcel Reed's one of the guys that you got to keep an eye on. I get it. It's Texas A&M. They come in with huge expectations.
Yeah.
And it's something that I think, he came in and replaced he's at Houston now. What is his name? Who was A&M's starter last year against Notre Dame? He had
yeah. I don't remember, but yeah.
But he's at Houston now.
Yeah. Connor something.
Connor Wagman. Yes, Connor Wagman.
Yeah.
So Wagman goes to Houston. Marcel Reed is going to be the starter. He struggled last year whenever he had to stay in the pocket and throw the ball. But I think, what we've seen out of Austin Simmons at the end of the year, when he got to play against Mississippi State, I think there's some shining things there. And I think Jackson Arnold, kind of paired with Hugh Freeze, might be a match made in heaven.
Sure. Yeah, could be.
But Lenoris Sellers, to me, is the wild card out of this bunch because South Carolina to me has huge expectations because of the way they ended last year. They beat Clemson at Clemson. Clemson was a playoff team. We don't have to get in the whole playoff debate. And I'll take Rich out for a second.
No, but I think they have it right for the most part. Like, I think Lagway is clearly the best quarterback in the conference. I don't think it's close, to be honest with you. I think Arch Manning has the potential to be the second best quarterback in the conference. I don't think it's that far off. I just think they're projecting a lot, right? Like, they're doing what they do in the offseason where they project who's going to be the best quarterback in the league. Lagway is definitely the best quarterback in the SEC coming into next year. Will he end up being the best? I don't know. But he's definitely the best coming into the season.
Yeah, I think that, the way people moved around in this portal, we're going to see a lot of different things. And I'll be interested to see what Auburn looks like on defense. They lost Kelly to Jackson State, Charles Kelly. He's the head coach at Jacksonville
State.
Yeah, replacing Rich Rodriguez. So I think that Auburn's going to be incredibly interesting this year because I think that there's a lot of expectations there, and it's the only ticket in town, and I think that's the difference that we're looking at being in the north to the south. That a lot of these schools down there, that's the only ticket in town.
Mm-hmm.
And
but let's pivot for a second. Sid brings up a good question here. Michigan, Ohio State, Notre Dame, Bama, UGA. Who am I missing? I assume he's talking about who can actually win the Natty. Who's he missing? He's got Michigan, Ohio State, Notre Dame, Bama, Georgia. I think all five of those are capable. I would say Michigan's the least capable of that.
You putting any stock into Sarkisian in Texas this year?
Yeah, I think Texas is a national national championship contender. Outside of that, I mean, who?
I don't disagree. I already know where this is going. I already know. That's it.
If you say Ole Miss, I'm going to lose my mind.
No, it's even going to be worse than that.
God, okay.
Give me Cade Klubnik.
No.
And Dabo Sweeney.
No.
And the Clemson Tigers.
Yeah, no, he said all the ones that are actual contenders. You're just bringing up fake contenders. Like Clemson, sorry.
No. I like Clemson this year.
No. They'll be 10-2. That'll be great. Make the playoff.
Probably win the conference again.
Maybe. It's a terrible conference.
I'm just saying I'm out on Miami.
Miami's trash. No, like if you're talking about actual national championship contenders, he named them all. And he even included Michigan, who I don't think is one this year, but most years. But like Michigan, Ohio State, Notre Dame, Bama, Georgia. You could throw Texas in. I think Texas is the only other one that you could maybe include. Dave's here said, which I think means Oregon, but no, they're not an actual contender.
I think Oregon has a lot of buzz and excitement because
but they're still Oregon.
But last year they peaked. They beat Ohio State early in the year. Call it whatever you want to call it. They had more points at the end. So
they had 1 point. You're right. Yeah.
And I think that they have a lot of buzz around them, and there's a lot of steam behind Dan Lanning. I think Dan Lanning's great.
Lanning. It's Lanning. God. But no, I think Dan Lanning, I thought Dan Lanning was good, but after last year, I'm not convinced. I think he is just James Franklin 2.0.
Wow.
That's what I think. Prove me different.
Now do you throw Penn
Oregon's
State?
Schedule is real. No, Penn State. No, Penn State has about as good a chance as Michigan.
But you're saying so on a neutral site in a playoff game, You don't think Clemson could beat Penn State or Michigan?
No, I think Clemson could. Yeah.
So doesn't that catapult them?
We're talking about winning a natty. We're not talking about winning the first round.
I think Clemson's got a good a shot as anybody.
At what, winning a natty?
I think so.
You think they're going to be able to win 4 games in a row against top tier opponents? I guarantee you they can.
We will agree to disagree on Dabo.
They'll fumble one, I promise you, and it'll probably be the first one. But
I don't know that you're putting a lot on Brian Kelly.
No, I'm not. Brian Kelly's not going to be there.
Well, I'm saying in the first game because that's who Clemson plays is LSU.
No, I'm saying the first round of the playoffs. Clemson makes the playoffs, I think, and then first round, just like last year, they lose.
So we got people in the chat picking teams here.
With Duke on who?
Clemson. Joe's in on Clemson. Joe's in on Clemson. I think Clemson's going to be dynamic on defense.
If Clemson makes the semifinals, I haven't decided what I'll do yet, but I guarantee it doesn't happen.
You got to shave the beard.
I'll shave the beard. That's not a problem. But no, Clemson will make the playoffs, I think, and they'll lose just like they did last year. I mean, that's what they do.
So
they're not good.
I think yeah, exactly. Joe's right. They're bringing back a lot.
Everybody's bringing back a lot. That's the beauty of the transfer portal and all this NIL is you bring back a lot every year. The only thing they're bringing back that the other real contenders aren't is a quarterback.
Here we go. It. Dave's here is even he's even in. He's even
I know.
In.
Those two have the most experienced quarterbacks. Unfortunately, if they're quarterbacks anybody else wanted, they wouldn't be at their current school.
I don't think if you're Aller or if you're Klubnik, you would have left. There was nothing really. What was the most enticing place? Oklahoma?
Ohio State. Could have gone to Ohio State.
Okay. I'll do this and then we'll reset the.
What do you mean, Notre Dame? Could have gone to Notre Dame.
Okay. All right.
Could have gone to Indiana.
Nah. We're not doing that today. We're not doing that today. You haven't been on the show. We're not doing that today.
Indiana tops Clemson right now. Just saying.
We're not doing that today. But what I'm saying is, when it came to it, if there was no, I think for both those guys, there was no point in them leaving to. I agree. I'll use the two schools. I think the QB jobs were spoken for. That's why Devin Brown left and went to Cal. I think Julian Sainz, the guy. I think Devin Brown left because he knew he couldn't beat out Julian Sainz. I agree. And I'm not saying
that Cade Klubnik or Drew Aller couldn't have.
But you know how Ryan operates. He handpicks. And
he loves to bring in transfers.
Yeah, yes and no.
Him and Marcus love to do it.
But here's the other thing, though. Julian Sainz kind of a transfer. He really wasn't at Alabama long enough.
No, he doesn't count.
But then Jamison Williams counts.
No, he doesn't. I said he doesn't count, just like Jamison Williams doesn't count because Jamison Williams never played at Ohio State.
But I think that C.J. Carr was going to be the guy regardless. So I think
I agree. You can tell by Angeli leaving that C.J. Carr was the guy. And I think I agree. I think Ohio State knew that Julian Sainz probably the guy. And they probably are more comfortable with both those guys than Drew Aller or Cade Klubnik, which just, if that's the case, if they're more comfortable with those guys over the experienced guys,
I mean,
I trust them.
Ryan Day had three.
I trust him.
Day had 3 quarterbacks drafted this cycle.
Yeah.
So
I trust him.
You had yours.
So yours, McCord. Howard, and McCord.
Yeah. So, but yeah, we'll keep it moving and a grooving here. But if you're watching out there on X, come on over come on over to the YouTube side of things. Hit that like and subscribe button. We're going to try to get the show back rolling 5 days a week, and then when the season gets rolling around, we are going to be there. We're going to be on here 6 days a week, and we're trying to get to that 500 subscriber mark, and that's where we're going. So with that being said, hit that like and subscribe button, and help us get moving through the algorithm.
Joe said, "Don't bet the house. Don't bet the house on what? On Clemson not making the Natty, or I don't know what not to bet the house on. I'm probably gonna bet the house, but here's what I'm gonna bet the house on. I can tell you your Final Four right now. You guys want to know?
We'll add Rich back in here. All right, go ahead.
Final Four, guaranteed, depending on seeding, is going to be Ohio State, Notre Dame, Alabama, Texas. That's going to be your Final Four. Obviously, it depends on seeding, but I think that's your Final Four. I think you're going to have a Notre Dame, Alabama semifinal and Ohio State, Texas semifinal, and winners will play for a Natty again.
All right, I wrote that down. What is today's date?
6-9. Duke's favorite
6-9. Damn, she fine.
Hey, Duke, what comes after 69?
70.
Mouthwash.
Oh,
God damn, Rich. God damn it, Richie.
Well, with that being said, people are highly impressed with the Colorado Buffaloes selling out their season tickets again.
Yeah. I mean, that's impressive. No Shador, no Travis Hunter, and still Coach Prime out there selling tickets. What do you put there over under it?
I go 9.5.
9.5? Wow. Okay.
Book it.
Duke.
7-5.
Okay, so 7.5, we'll say.
7.5 is where I would set it.
I think that's where Vegas has it. But yeah, I think 9.5 is absurd. They're not going to win 9 games, so take the under all day.
I think that they gotta. Here's the thing: one of the most dangerous teams in Week 1 is Georgia Tech.
All right, Chris Drew, calm down.
No,
I'm king, baby.
I'm being serious because the thing that it's going to be tough with Georgia Tech is they're going to run the shit out of the football, and you got to be able to stop it like they did to Florida State. But we had, because I got the schedule in front of me. Georgia Tech, that's a toss up.
L.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead. Keep going.
Delaware, they should win. They got to go on the road to Houston, which I don't like that.
I'm gonna give them a dub.
I think that game's closer than what people think.
Yeah, I'll give them a dub. 2-1. Go ahead, keep going.
They should beat Wyoming.
Okay, 3-1.
BYU, don't like that, even though it's at home.
3-2.
4-1.
Got to go to TCU.
3-3.
5-1.
You think they lose to TCU?
I'll put them at 4-2, but they're going to lose to Georgia Tech. They're going to lose 2 of those 3 games, so 4-2.
Iowa State at home.
L. 4-3.
At Utah.
L. 4-4.
At home against Arizona.
Dub. 5-4.
On the road in Morgantown, West Virginia.
Dub. 6-4.
Home against Arizona State.
L. 6-5.
At Kansas State to end the year.
7-5.
So we came to the same.
Yeah,
we came to
7-5.
Same conclusion.
Maybe
So,
maybe 8-4. Maybe 8-4. They might get 8, but they're not getting more than 8.
I think 8 is considered a win considering all the offensive production that you just lost. Because you lost
I think 8-4 is a good year for them.
Lost their 3 top receivers starting Q, and they had a couple guys transfer on defense.
Yep.
As we roll through,
as we proceed,
the top instant impact transfers in the SEC.
Duke loves the SEC. You got Mateer, Singleton. Yeah, I mean, cool. Yeah, I think Mateer obviously is the number one guy. Most of this list just screams mediocrity to me. I gotta be honest with you. Like, do you see anybody that jumps out at you on this list?
I think
nobody.
The Singleton kid could make an impact, but I think Mateer is so pivotal in this because
but it's still Oklahoma.
Oklahoma was putrid on offense last year, and I don't necessarily blame Jackson Arnold for that. I think
I think they just suck on offense.
So they were down on the offense, and that's just something it was. But I think Mateer can make the biggest impact throughout the conference.
Yeah.
And Carter removed himself.
Sorry. Yep. Sorry. I'll be right back, though. Here you go. Hold on 1 second.
All right. But yeah, I think Mateer is one of the top candidates to make an impact in the SEC this year.
Yeah.
Dave's here's got maybe they stop with the hero ball pushing in. It'd be better. Yeah, I think that the Jackson Arnold had a rough go of it down there because I just thought that the offense didn't look in sync, and it looked at times kind of just off kilter. Like they didn't look comfortable in at all what they were doing. They struggled against Tennessee, but they showed up against Alabama.
Yeah, they only let them score 3 points.
Yeah, they shut Alabama down. So I think that
didn't Alabama tailback transfer Michigan? Justice Haynes?
I believe so.
Ooh.
So I think that, throughout that conference, I think that, Alabama had to pick up the pieces for the most part. They had a lot of piece picking up to do, after Saban retired. So it's one of those things. I think Venables is, I think he's under a ton of pressure, and, they got to do something this year. I don't know what Oklahoma's finances look like as far as the coaches buyouts and things like that, because there's a lot of guys for all intents and purposes in the coaching profession right now because of the new House versus NCAA settlement that has put a lot of universities a rock in a hard place to where they can't really move off of somebody because they can't come up with almost $100 million to get rid of somebody. But yeah, the Claudia Wilken ruled with the roster limits and everything like that. I think that the next step is to go collective bargaining to get some type of, basic work rules into this settlement. I don't think it was perfect, but by this settlement getting approved, it makes it a landmark because now going forward, no university can sue the NCAA. It doesn't stop the players, but the university can't bring suit on behalf of any athletic department.
Yeah, it's a big deal. And I saw today that Ross Bjork and Ohio State said that they are going to fully fund it. And so they're going to keep all 36 scholarship sports, and they're going to fully fund this, which is big. That's huge out of a university to say they're going to do that, because That's going to be a lot of fucking money. And it got approved. So everybody's going to have to do it. And it's going to be separate from your NIL. I also found out how they're going to do the collectives going forward at Ohio State, at least. So the 1870 Society and the Foundation are all getting absorbed into what's called the Buckeye Sports Group, which is going to be operated by the university. And the people that were in charge of the foundation and the 1870 Society are going to be advisors on that committee or whatever. And it's all going to be, so now your NIL and everything is managed by the university. So
I think the clearinghouse, I don't know if it's going to.
Yeah.
I don't know how much it's really going to disrupt. I don't think it's going to, because instead of donating to the collective, now you just donate to the athletic department.
Yeah, I think that'll be good. I think the one thing that's interesting is like, what are the regulations within the clearinghouse? Because nobody really knows that yet.
Over $600, it's got to go through.
Yeah, no, I understand that, but like, let's say the clearinghouse determines that Bryce Underwood is only worth $2 million.
Right. But see, here's something, and I want to bring up two things on this. You have that. I don't know how a computer algorithm is going to generate what somebody's worth is, one.
Yeah.
Two, I don't know how you can set somebody's wage scale, like Dave's here saying, in a private person's wage scale. Like for the podcast, if we want to pay ourselves $1 million a piece, we can do that.
Yeah.
There's nothing in the private sector that
doesn't. Right, we can.
There's nothing in the private sector that says that we don't have, that you're going to come in. It would be like the federal government coming in and saying, you guys can only pay yourselves $100,000 because that's what you're worth. No,
Yeah.
That's not right. And then also Joe brings up Title IX, which everybody that I've talked to that's in on this is kind of like, well, wait and see.
Yeah.
I'm just like, whatever.
It's a whole mess, man. It's a whole mess. To be honest with you.
But we talked about how big of a mess this was going to be. We talked about this all last year because I brought it up. Yeah. And then all of a sudden I'm seeing all this outrage on Twitter, and it's like, well, where were you guys at 6 months ago when this was getting put together? And then also on the playoff format, me and Richie talked about that at length, that the Big Ten was trying to sell that 4-4-2-2-1. I'm like, that's not going to fly, because every conference is going to look at that model and say, why would we limit ourselves to only 4?
Right.
That's why it's 5-11. So I don't think that debate's not done just yet, but
no.
But also, I think people were giving Tony Batiti a lot of heat for the format. But here's the other thing, too. He works for all the universities.
Mm-hmm.
And if his constituents aren't happy with him, they will find somebody else that will do that job. And I think those jobs pay relatively
well.
good.
Yeah, really well.
Pay a nice chunk of change, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I agree.
So, next on the list, we have the vaunted Manning Passing Academy.
Woohoo!
Oh, boy.
Is there anybody on there that you're
No,
I'm shocked about Arch Manning being at number 1.
Well, I don't think it's a list. I just think they put names together.
I'm just shocked Arch Manning was even invited, Surely his name had nothing to do with it.
Here's my thing for the Manning Passing Academy. I'm sure the Ohio State people that watch the show will love this. Can we actually get film of everybody throwing just one pass like Will Howard last year?
Sure.
I'm just saying, but we got the Manning Passing Academy coming up. If you're handicapping this, who do you think wins the Manning Passing Academy?
Arch.
I'm going to say Luke Altmaier or Garrett Nussmeier.
I promise
I'm
you,
gonna
Arch
say
does.
Drew Aller.
No, Arch is gonna win. There's no way Arch doesn't win. Like, bro, your name is on the academy. Like,
well, it's your two uncles' name on the academy in your grandpa.
Like, yeah. But and if you don't win, that's embarrassing.
Luke Altmaier. I like Luke.
Yeah, I mean, I don't dislike Luke, but I'm just telling you, they're gonna make sure Arch wins. Obviously, it's a promotional opportunity for the Manning name.
Yeah, I mean,
it's not a real thing.
We'll see, but it's just something that,
like, if I had a Smith Passing Academy, I guarantee you Cam wins it. Even if he's not the best.
If you're running it, maybe, but if your brother's running it, no.
Oh, Cam wins for sure.
No.
You underestimate.
Hey, by me selecting Altmaier, Joe says I'm wise beyond my years. I'm getting the compliments. See,
I don't like this. I don't like this at all.
See, this is what happens. I'm the man with the tenderloin on the hat.
Anyways, let's get back to where everybody just shits on Duke. That's easier.
Now,
yeah,
he's not that smart, guys. Trust.
I'm just telling you. Well, House versus NCAA, being a big deal, I get it. That's why Carter just is like, this guy's right again, and Carter wants. Hey, while you were gone, Rich, Indiana is now ahead of Clemson in the college football pecking order. That's what this guy's came up with. He has got.
Am I wrong?
He has got his Big Ten. What?
Thank you.
What's wrong with you guys? All of a sudden now.
Google him, Duke. Google him.
It's because we got into this debate last year about was Indiana a legitimate team?
They're better than Clemson, yeah.
Yeah, I think Indiana, they could go Elite Eight.
Rich,
I'm just saying, Duke. I'm just saying, bro.
Don't start with me.
I would go as far as to say Illinois was better than Clemson last year.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. Bert's got them turned around, man.
All right.
I'm just saying.
All right. Let's
I think they need to go.
Let's get this.
I mean, if you play the Sisters of the Poor in SMU every week, yeah, I get it. You think you're good.
Watch out for those Illini.
Watch out, Dabo and the Cousins. They're going to be showing up in the Beverly Hillbillies mobile.
No, they probably won't even make the playoffs.
Playoffs? With this team?
All right.
Don't talk about the playoffs.
All right, national championship odds.
Yeah, I'll put it up here.
Indiana,
Duke's
Illinois.
Gonna love this. He's gonna jerk off to Clemson's.
Just telling you.
Oh my God, 3.8%. Oh,
Texas being the favorite.
Of course they are. It's fucking Texas, bro.
Yeah.
So
we can just erase them from it because they're not going to win shit.
I don't know. Are people sleeping on Georgia?
No. I think it's accurate.
Who they have at whiteouts?
Yeah, that's a problem.
Who have they ever had at whiteout?
George Pickens. That's
George Pickens.
That's now
he was
a Cowboy.
not that good. He was not that good.
So as we peel back the first rung of the percentages here, I don't think anybody disagrees.
No, I would say Texas is a little high, but that's all because they have Arch Manning and returning a shit ton. I get it. I think
I'm
Texas
a little surprised with Penn State. Penn State is 7.6.
In the second rung of, I mean, they got Jim Knowles.
Yeah.
And Knowles we trust.
He's a great defensive coordinator. Don't get me wrong, but they had a great defense last year. I don't know why everybody thinks that like going from the number 2 defense in the Big Ten to number 1 defense in the Big Ten is going to make this sudden difference for them. Like it's not like they had a bottom half defense last year. Like they had one of the best defenses in college football. And now all of a sudden you think you're going to go from one of the best to maybe the best, and you think that's going to change something?
We got a little bit of a disagreement going on in the chat.
What?
Joe believes that Ohio State is too high. Dave's here believes that people are sleeping on Oregon, but Joe comes back with Oregon is too high.
I think they're both accurately rated, if I'm being honest.
I think so too. The Alabama thing, I think Alabama will be better on offense.
Yeah.
Based off of what?
Based off of Jalen Milroe, the last
So you're
4
assuming that their quarterback play is going to improve, right?
I'm going to assume so because I think Ty Simpson's probably going to be the starter.
Yeah, okay. So an assumption, right, which is the same thing you could say for Ohio State, Georgia, Texas, Oregon. Like, it's the same assumption for all of them.
But as we get down to the other tier out of the 4 big dogs there, Penn State, I just think this year has to make the leap. They have to.
But so here's crazy thing. Of the top 6 teams with the best chance to win the national title, how many of them are returning a quarterback?
Does Arch count?
No, he doesn't.
No,
he was not the starting quarterback, so no.
So out of the top 6 teams, there's only one team returning their quarterback, which is
exactly Penn State.
Which is
Clemson.
Penn State. And yeah, if you wanted to throw one more,
I said top 6. God damn it, for a reason.
But
listen, I'm putting Clemson in there.
Well, if you go top 8, top 10, even you can go just 2.
Because if you look at everybody,
top 11, there's only 2
out of what is this?
20.
So 20 teams. Out of the 20 teams, Texas not returning a starter, Georgia, Ohio State, Alabama, Oregon, Miami replaced
Notre Dame, Tennessee, A&M.
No, Marcel Reed started the majority of the year.
I guess, okay. A&M counts. Ole Miss, new. Auburn.
New.
Michigan.
Auburn, new. Michigan's new.
South Carolina, no.
Oklahoma's new. Other than that, it's the same.
Yeah.
So maybe 5 out of the top 20 are returning quarterbacks?
13 teams are replacing a quarterback.
So 7 out of the top 20 returning. And that's if you count A&M, which I don't.
I think you should because Marcel Reed started the bulk of the year.
Yeah, but Wakeman was their guy. But okay, that's fine.
Wegman started the year, but it just wasn't jiving. But
yeah, that's fair.
But I can't believe the one team that I'm seeing on this list that I cannot believe is how does Tennessee have better odds than Florida?
Yeah, with Nico leaving.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think Tennessee's going to be an 8-4 team, guys. What do you think?
Tennessee's going to suck if you got trust me. Tennessee always sucks.
Now, I get it. You got the Florida ties, but is it fair to Heupel because they kind of Tennessee stood on business and said no, we're not paying you?
No, that's good. I'm glad they did that, but that doesn't mean they're not going to be worse because of it.
But do you blame Heupel in that situation though?
No. That's 100%. Like Nico wasn't worth the money.
So here's why I asked that question. So let's say Tennessee goes 6-6.
That's inexcusable.
But if they go 6-6, is Heupel on the hot seat at that point?
Yes. Should have recruited better.
I get that.
You should be able to lose your starting quarterback, replace him, and still go 8-4. That's the expectations that bit. Like if Julian Sain left today, do you think Ohio State fans would be fine with Ryan Day going 6-6 just because
No.
Julian Sain left?
No, they'd be.
They won. Okay.
They'd be coming down.
He
with
would be
pitchforks
fired
and torches.
tomorrow.
Like I said,
Pitchforks.
like I said in the group chat, they just won the national championship last year.
All right,
whatever you want to say,
okay,
whatever you want to say,
let's say Notre Dame goes 6-6 this year. You think people aren't calling for Marcus's job?
That's different.
No.
They didn't win the Natty.
They played for it.
They played for it, but they didn't win it.
They didn't win it. I don't think they called for his head.
And so, if Tennessee goes 6-6, should Josh Heupel not have his job called for?
I think he gets that they turn the burner on. But if let's say Brian,
why? If Notre Dame would call for his job after playing for a Natty last year, why would Tennessee not do the same?
I think that we're looking at expectations here are different at every program.
Oh, okay. So you're just saying Tennessee is not at the level of Notre Dame and those. Okay.
Well, I'm not saying they're not at the level, but I'm saying I think that people are more apt to give Heupel a pass than what they would be at Ohio State or Notre Dame. Because if you look at Ohio State Twitter, they're still freaking out because some kid committed somewhere else.
No, I understand that. But I think Notre Dame's a little more rational.
Yeah, I would agree with that, Carter.
But I mean, at the Brian Kelly juncture where we're at right now.
Who above Tennessee? So let's look above Tennessee. You got Notre Dame, Miami, Clemson, Oregon, Penn State, and then the big dogs. Let's say Oregon goes 6-6. Are they calling for Dan Lanning's job?
No, because Oregon is a tough job. It's a tough job to get people to take, and it's a tough job to keep people there.
Well, they got that Phil Knight money.
Miami
goes 6-6.
Miami went 10-2, and they want Mario fired.
Okay, so why would Tennessee not be on the same level as everybody in front of them?
Because their sophomore quarterback dipped up out of town, and you were expecting to have him for 2 years at least.
I guess, but like, whose fault is that?
There's a lot of blame, I think, that goes around at Tennessee, but I think Heupel gets a pass on this year.
Oh God! Yeah, well, you know what? I hope you're right, because I think Heupel's a great coach. But if I'm a Tennessee fan, fuck you.
I'm just telling you what the expectation versus
what. No, I think you underestimate the expectations at Tennessee. Tennessee fans actually think they've been relevant for the past 20 years. Like, they think they're one of the big dogs.
What do you mean relevant? They ran Phil Fulmer out, and then
after he won a Natty.
And not to mention, you had Derek Dooley in there in the checkered pants. Like, come on, you can't take yourself serious.
They thought that these guys were like the best of the best. No, I'm telling you, I know Tennessee fans. They think they are like the pinnacle of college football. And so, like, if he goes 6-6 this year, I guarantee you there's a whole host of them wanting him fired. And those are the same guys that wouldn't let you hire Greg Schiano.
Hey,
I remember that.
I forgot about this, but Dave's here makes an outstanding point. With the new pay rules, Nico does get his money.
That's fine.
But, hey, yesterday's gone. That's what Leonard Skinner said. But
yeah, well, the thing is like the Nico stuff is nobody gives a shit. Like, yeah, you can lose your quarterback. You still better perform on the field. Like, we give you $20 million a year to put a team on the field. You better do it. So they better be top 10.
But I think some of the guys on this list, we'll go through it. Sarkisian, if I'm Texas, I'm not moving.
Safe. He's safe.
Georgia, I'm not moving.
Kirby's safe as fuck.
Brian Day, regardless of whatever he does, it doesn't matter what we
He's
say.
safe. He's not going anywhere.
Ryan
He can
going-
lose to
no.
Michigan for the next 35 years. If he wins
Ryan
that,
Day-
he's safe.
So
I mean,
then
I agree with that, Carter. I mean,
Alabama.
Yeah, it's like everybody wants to act like he's safe. He's good. He's got another 2 years before he's in trouble.
Here's one. Penn
Franklin's never
State.
going anywhere. He's safe.
I think the only way Dan leaves Oregon is on his own volition. I think the same with Dabo and Clemson.
Yeah,
I think
Mario's
I think
gone.
Mario,
If Mario don't make the playoffs,
He's gone. He's gone.
he's toast.
It's tough there. Marcus Freeman at Notre Dame.
Safe as
No.
fuck. He never been
No,
safe.
he ain't going anywhere.
Heupel at Tennessee.
I think he's safe.
I think he's safe too. Elko at A&M.
One more year.
You think Elko's got another year to be like, hey, we need to be a playoff contender before they turn the heat up?
Yeah, he's got one more year.
Your favorite,
Gone.
Brian Kelly. I don't think they could. Here's
Gone.
the
He's
the,
good.
bu-
Yeah.
the buyout. That's what's in
That's
LSU's.
cool. After they go 5-7, he gone.
You think they're gonna go 5-7?
It's Brian Kelly, yes.
5-7 or 6-6 is what I'm thinking.
Yeah. He gone.
I think they win
What?
8 games.
Lane train.
I think he's gone, and they reach for Saban. They try to get Saban to come back.
If I had a candidate, hear me out on this. If I have a candidate on this, I think Kelly gets one more year. This is a wild theory. Put your tinfoil hat on.
Okay.
Brian Kelly gets one more year to make the buyout digestible.
Oh, yeah.
Sam Pittman's probably going to step down at the end of the year
Mm-hmm.
because, I mean, I think the dude's like 65, and it's
Yeah.
Arkansas.
Yep.
And I think Arkansas can be great. I think Florida State has a good year. I think Arkansas goes bout and hires Gus Malzahn because who they really want to hire is John Summerall. And I think Summerall stays at Tulane, has a 9-3, 10-2, maybe wins the American. He hangs on at Tulane for another year. LSU hires Summerall. He's already in Louisiana. His approval rating, for all intents and purposes, the people at Tulane love him. It's a marquee job. It's something that a coach would covet. So I think that is how that plan of succession goes, because that is what happened. I heard this story on MPW Digital that they told about. I don't know if even you guys will remember this, but remember when Tommy Tuberville was at Ole Miss? He was going to stay for one more year instead of taking the Auburn job. If they didn't get Tuberville, they were going to hire Saban from Michigan State. Tuberville takes the Auburn job. Saban stays one more year at Michigan State.
And then takes the LSU job.
Then he takes the LSU job. But we'll finish this list, and then we'll get the last 2 topics, and then we'll get everybody out of here. I think Lane's safe. Hugh Freeze, that's a very divisive topic among Auburn fans.
He gone.
I think that Hugh's got to push for the playoffs, or he's in.
He gone.
His seat's hot. Sherron Moore, we'll have to see what the NCAA comes up with.
He's
on that.
gone too.
I don't think
but that's not for performance. He's just gone because he's going to have to be gone.
South Carolina with Beamer.
He's safe.
Safe.
Oklahoma with Venables. I think Venables and Hugh Freeze are in the same boat. Would you not agree? Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I would. They're both gone.
I don't think I think Hugh saves it. I think Brent is gone.
Yeah, if Venables is gone, yeah, for sure.
If they don't perform well,
fucking what's his face at SMU?
Dave's here. Where did you hear that at?
Yeah, I don't remember that. That'll be interesting.
We
ahead of Saban?
We'll hold
I'll
on.
dig into that.
We'll have to get into that after we turn the live off.
Yeah, I don't know.
But where are we at? Rhett Lashley. Sid said Rhett Lashley to Arkansas. No, because SMU has more money
SMU has so much more money.
SMU has a ton of money. Billy Napier.
That landman money.
Safe.
I think Billy Ballgame is safe. He's got Lagway. I think they got it cooking.
If he was going to lose his job, it was going to be last year. So
yep.
I think he's good.
So I think that
G5 Billy.
That's big ball game, Billy. He beat Lane Kiffin. He beat Brian Kelly.
G5 Billy up in here.
Oh no! That's big ball game, Billy.
Brian Kelly. He beat Brian Kelly. Okay, G5 Billy. Like I said.
Yeah. So I think that rounds out the list. I think the guy at Kansas State's safe. But
what you mean? What? Okay, so Dave. Interesting. So you mean when? Which time do you like? Because Rich Rod's back at WVU right now, isn't he?
There was.
So
I don't know.
Mean this? Do you mean when DeBoer got hired, he turned down Bama?
No.
Oh.
I don't know if I want to get into that publicly, but
Gotcha.
But and then Dave here says he fucked Michigan. Oh man.
Yeah, he did. He definitely did. He fucked Michigan, he's a good Ohio boy. Fucking Michigan.
Carter's got it. Don't let anybody fool you. Carter's got a block M tattooed on his calf.
I have seen it.
But anyway,
Censored. Never mind.
we've got the head coaches since 1966. One of the last topics. The Cleveland Browns lead the list. 21.
I don't know why we have to do this. Like,
I'm just reading down the list.
Cool,
here.
Dude. Cool.
Cleveland's got 21. The Saints. For all you audio listeners out there, Carter is making an obscene gesture. The Saints with 19. Arizona 18, New England 16. I'm really shocked by that. I didn't realize, but I guess the Patriots were bad in the late 60s, early 70s.
Yeah, they were pretty bad.
They sucked ass for a long time, yeah.
The Rams,
Steelers, by the way, but
yeah, the Chief owned them for 30 years and didn't win Butkus.
Yeah.
So
relatively Steelers sucked. They just didn't fire anybody.
No.
They just sucked and continue to suck. This is fun. Let's keep sucking.
They didn't turn into a serious organization until Dan Rooney got involved and Art Jr.
Yeah. I'm aware. I understand how it goes. But anyways, a lot of head coaches. Not a great thing if you have a lot. That's not normally like. The teams with the most head coaches, how many of them have Super Bowls? The Broncos. That's it.
Broncos, Redskins.
Redskins?
Yep.
Yeah. Patriots, Niners.
Well, Patriots, but fuck the Patriots. They got lucky. Eagles, I guess.
Bears got one.
Fuck the Bears. Fuck this whole thing. This whole graphic can go to hell.
But
I love it.
The Steelers and Ravens. The
Ravens weren't around for 30 of the fucking years. That's not fair.
But they've only had 3 coaches though.
In the 30 years they've been alive, I guess. Yeah.
But the Jaguars and the Buccaneers have been around longer than the Ravens.
And they have more. They've been around longer.
But not by much.
I understand that, all right?
Carter all of a sudden forgets how math works, but the Texans are the
Ravens. All right, fuck the Ravens. They shouldn't even be on the list. They're not a real team.
So
it's that
here we go.
That Dublin Kaufman math.
Fuck you. We're the best in the state, but okay.
But all right. We'll get into the last topic. We'll reset real quick. If you're watching on X, come on over to the YouTube side of things. Join in the chat. We got Dave's here, Sid, and Joe. Hit that like and subscribe button and help us get this thing kicking through the algorithm. But with that being said, are we hearing a groundswell for Jeremiah Love for Heisman? Is that campaign going to start kicking off?
So it's already kicked off. It's already full force. And the great thing about Notre Dame is once they have a player that's ready to win a Heisman Trophy, which Jeremiah Love is ready to win a Heisman Trophy. Like, he is going to be the featured member of this offense. Like, he is going to be the guy. And when they have that, they actually promote him. It's insane. For Ohio State fans out there, you guys don't know how that works, because you guys have a Heisman candidate right now who will never get showcased. Although I heard that your SID was retiring, but it still hasn't come out publicly. We'll see. But Jeremiah Love is the front runner for the Heisman right now. He is going to be pushed. From everything I've heard, they have already started the campaign. Like, it is preseason. As long as he doesn't die between now and the start of the season, he is going to be one of the 4 Heisman finalists. And do you know the school with the most Heisman Trophy winners?
Notre Dame.
Notre Dame. That's the right answer. That's correct. And do you know how they get all those Heisman Trophy winners?
They're a hell of a promotion staff, because
Exactly.
Notre Dame had a losing record, and Paul Hornung still won it. So
exactly, because they are the most popular school in all of America. They transcend all this regional bias, which is why Tim Tebow didn't win 2 Heismans, by the way. We can get into that another time. But Tim Tebow had more votes for first place and more total votes than anybody else, and still finished 3rd. Absolutely absurd. Never heard of it. Absolutely has never happened since. But the reason that happened is because Tim Tebow went to Florida. He wasn't on the ballot nationwide. When you're at Notre Dame, you are on a nationwide ballot. You are not just on the Midwest ballot. You're everywhere. So Jeremiah Love has already started his campaign, and I'm telling you right now, from everything I've heard, this dude is going to be the guy. Like, the entire offense is going to run through 4. And might not win a natty, but we're going to win a Heisman.
Here's I got 2 things on that. I think Jeremiah Love should definitely be, and I got two things if we can squeeze them in right before we end.
Yep.
I'll give my thoughts
real hard to squeeze them in.
But no Diddy. But Jeremiah Love definitely
Pause.
After watching Here Comes the Irish, I don't know if they're doing that again this year. I think they are.
I think they are.
But I mean, just seeing how Marcus is running that program, I think they're doing everything that Brian Kelly didn't do. Is they're running it at a top flight, going after the best, trying to recruit the best. Marcus is making the proper steps to get it there, and that's just something that's there. And then Joe brings up the Notre Dame SC rivalry. At this point, to me, it's all on USC. Lincoln Riley can't be catching L's. That's all I'm saying. That's all I got on that.
No, yeah, I will touch on this and then we'll get out of here. We have talked about it, and I will talk about it again. If the Notre Dame USC rivalry ends, I just want everybody to be as clear as possible, because I've talked to a lot of people about it, because a lot of people are trying to say, like, oh, no, Notre Dame won't play it in September. Yeah, the fuck they will. Notre Dame will play it whenever USC wants to. It doesn't matter if it's August 30th every year. Notre Dame will play it whenever, however, as long as it continues. USC is the one that is trying to end it. And the reason is because USC doesn't want to have to face a full Big Ten slate and Notre Dame every single year. That's all the reason. That's absolutely 100% true. There is nothing else to it. USC is trying to back out of it because USC knows they have no shot. And it's not just Notre Dame. They know they have no shot in the Big Ten, and they don't want to add another tough game to it. So if it ends, it is 100% on USC. I want to make that very clear.
So, okay, the last two things that I have, Kentucky's athletic director came out and made some comments, and the last two things are about both your alma maters. So, it's one is
Kentucky's athletic director is probably soft as shit. What he said?
He said it's really going to be up to the university to determine if they want to polarize basketball over football in the revenue sharing. So that's where Kentucky's at. I think it's
AKA we're going to polarize basketball. Got you. Cool.
So also that, and then I sent something to both you guys today about a trailer dropping on HBO about Ohio State wrestling.
No, wrestling.
Real wrestling.
I don't know if you watched that trailer, but
I did not.
I watched it. Yeah, I watched it.
I don't know nothing about it, but I mean, we don't have to get into specifics
Where
about
the
it.
fuck do you think Richie went to school? What do you mean both are alma maters?
No, I mean, but you know what?
Both my alma maters.
Both your
Gotcha.
alma maters.
Gotcha. I was like, I don't know where the fuck you think Richie went, but he didn't go to Kentucky or Ohio State.
He went to
I wish.
vaunted Kent State Golden Flash. But
Yeah, so here's just a shout out. So in NCAA 2026, schools get paid based off of how many times you play with them.
So play with Ohio State.
So if you want to play with Kent State and make them a national title contender, you need to get all your friends to do it too. Because do you know how many games you have to play for you to get paid? Did you see this, Rich?
I didn't see this, but I know how many times you use the team, it's when they get money. I don't know how many times.
So if I play with Notre Dame, I have to play with them 7 million games for them to get $50,000.
Who has? Oh God.
So when everybody's like, if we all play with Kent State, we can make them a national title contender. I'm like, guys, you don't play enough games. Like if everybody played with Kent State every single game, they'd still only have like 2.5 million.
So, yeah.
But anyways.
Yep. With that being said, glad to have the whole band back together tonight on this Monday. Hopefully we can keep it rolling. Hit that like and subscribe button if you like this content and keep us rolling in the algorithm. We got to get back on the grind. The season is upon us.
We're back, baby. It's back. We're back. Season time.
In 75 days. 75 days, but who's counting? But with that being said, everybody have a good night, and we'll see you back tomorrow.
Have a great night, everybody.